There's been a little bit more life to Real Madrid in this second half, and part of it has been from the substitutions. But Isco does a good job of having a peek over that right shoulder, taking one touch, preparing it. Unlucky for that ball not to hit the inside of the post in the back of the net. But a little bit more urgency of the Real Madrid attack over the last 5-6 minutes here.
Changes, more of them. Sergio Ramos goes off. He's replaced by Philipp Lienhardt, young Austrian defender. Dani Carvajal is another to make way. Danilo comes on for him. And Isco, having just struck the post with that spectacular effort, also heads to the bench. And the replacement is Martin Odegaard, the 17-year-old Norwegian. He was, by all accounts, a signing of the president, Florentino Perez, rather than the club coach at the time. It just happened to be one Carlo Ancelotti. Rafinha. Feldhahn to his centre-back partner Martinez. Juan Bernat. It's a goal kick. Now the game's coming thick and fast across the ESPN channels. Sunday afternoon, join Taylor and I for the live MLS game from Providence Park in Portland, where the Timbers take on Sporting Kansas City. MLS Soccer Sunday, presented by Audi, 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, and of course also available streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Portland making a couple new signings over the last few days. One of those, Stephen Taylor, that you know well from Newcastle. I think they desperately need him with Nat Borchers tearing his Achilles.
And they'll be hoping to have Liam Ridgewell back this weekend as well, no doubt.
Yep.
Looking forward to Providence Park. So many people have told me so many positive things about it.
So this is going to be the first experience, huh?
Debut at Providence Park. Lucas Vazquez, too strong for Morata.
But now we've started to see a little bit more life to Real Madrid. The game's opened up a little bit. Maybe they've lost their defensive shape, as it often happens when you make 6, 7, 8 subs in these types of games. But we've also seen a little life with Asensio and Vazquez coming into this one. Morata's had a little bit more of an impact going forward.
Both these sides will be amongst the very strongest favourites to go all the way in the UEFA Champions League this coming European club season. They have that status every season. As efficient and effective as they come, Real Madrid as glamorous as you'll ever see. Vazquez. It's the club that made history in the 1950s with 5 consecutive European Cups, and those great players, Alfredo Di Stefano, Ferenc Puskás, Santa Maria Hento, the Ronaldos and Messis of their day, captured sadly only on black and white newsreel. Marcelo. Thiago. Martinez. It's Feldhahn. Alaba will try and make something of that, and did.
And I think one of the positive things Carlo Ancelotti will get out of tonight's game is how strong his left-hand side has been going forward, whether it's been Bernat or Alaba. Both have been extremely effective when either one has gotten the opportunity of going forward.
In your playing days, were you a fan of pre-season, or was it just a chore that had to be got through?
I think it's a combination of both, and I'm not deflecting that question, but John, in the back of your mind, I don't care what level you're playing at, as a player, you're always thinking about, I need to get fit, but the real games start this date, or the real games are this far along. So as much as you want to get fit, you're still not going at your all-time best, because you know that big game, that first opening game of the season, is right around the corner, and the last thing you want to do is to get injured doing something stupid. But I think at this level, John, I think it's difficult to try to pace yourself unless you're at the, the likelihood of the Xabi Alonsos and the Philip Lahms and the Cristiano Ronaldos that have been there. But if you're a young player, you can't pace yourself. You've got to give it your all, because you're trying to gain a spot on the team, and that's why it's so competitive.
Thiago. Alaba. Free kick goes against him. He doesn't like it. After a finish tonight on ESPN, it's more International Champions Cup competition. AC Milan taking on Chelsea in the first ever sporting event at the shiny new home of the Minnesota Vikings, US Bank Stadium. Adrian Healy and Alejandro Moreno on the call for that, and that is coming up next, and also available streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Once that game's complete, there will only be 2 more remaining fixtures in this season's International Champions Cup. Barcelona against Liverpool at Wembley Stadium, North London, on Saturday, and Barcelona have to win that by a 4-goal margin to deprive PSG of the overall ICC title. And then a week on Saturday, the tournament concludes with Inter against Celtic in the bucolic surrounds of Thomond Park, Limerick. Vasquez. Nacho. Marcelo. Morata fell over rather tamely, and Martinez says to his countryman, what on earth are you playing at? Odegaard. Danilo. Kovacic. Asensio. I must say, has been well positioned to give all the decisions tonight, but now he has something extra to deal with. Jaime Herrera. His temper's fray at the edges. The solution is to brandish yellow. Paul Clement on the left there, Carlo Ancelotti's assistant.
Well, it hasn't been the easiest of nights for Alvaro Morata. He's had his work cut out for him. It's been a frustrating night. But his hold-up play has been very good. It's been very crisp, and he's gotten into the minds right now of Raul and Martinez. The only criticism I think Morata's had throughout his entire career is consistently scoring goals. He's been streaky, but game in and game out, burying those chances he gets.
Asensio, looking for Lienhart, found only Vidal. It was Lienhart that fouled the Chilean. Julian Green. Wise old head, Marcelo. On the screen a few seconds ago, confirmation that this is a complete sellout. 82,012 people inside MetLife Stadium tonight.
So I haven't seen you since the New England manager, right move?
I think from a limited field, yes. And I think also a pragmatist who won't be daunted by the profile that goes with the job. And will try, and I think this is the interesting thing, get inside what he regards as the failing minds of England players who've become tainted by consistent failure and almost expect to turn up and not succeed. There's Vasquez with the shot. Don't be deceived by the bluff exterior of Sam Allardyce. He's one of the first to turn to psychology and sports science in English management.
I think first and foremost, he needs his English national team players to be playing at the highest level. And as much as the viewers around the world want to say, well, look at the English Premier League, well, how many of those players are English?
Well, certainly in a minority. That means that the England manager often operates with one hand effectively tied behind his back. Vidal. Rafinha. Benko. Odegaard. Kovacic. Asensio. And now Marcelo. There's a lovely moment at the start of that move from Martin Odegaard. He arrived to such a fanfare. He made his debut for his previous team. Strømsgodset set at 15. International debut for Norway at 16. Bernard. Casemiro just waiting to kick his pocket.
Well, there was even a struggle whether Odegaard will come on this trip between the president and Zidane.
Well, it's written in his contract that he has to be involved both training and travel-wise with the first team.
And I think that's difficult for any manager because you want it based on sporting merit and you want that player to earn it. But what we've seen tonight in 5-6 minutes, Odegaard doesn't look out of place.
No. So another tranche of substitutions. Milos Pantovic is going to replace Javi Martinez for Bayern. And Real Madrid wanting to introduce 3 more players as well. Number 12 goes off. That's Marcelo. Alvaro Tejero, a 20-year-old left-back, will replace him. Leaves the pitch as the joint top scorer in the competition with 3 goals. Also pleased to say that we're going to get another glimpse of Mariano, who scored that stunner against Chelsea in Ann Arbor the other day. Alvaro Morata's race is run. And the other player that's come on at this stage is Marcos Llorente in the midfield for Casemiro. Great tackle by Vidal. This is Llorente. Now Danilo. If the score stays like this for another 12 minutes, we'll be having penalty kicks to decide the winners. Asensio. Turn and pace and acceleration. Odegaard. Asensio again. Tackles flying in, and Asensio was caught by one of them. Clipped on the ankle. Bernard. Danilo. At last. Pure and crisp. Power generated by the foot of a right back. And Real Madrid, having been second best for long periods of this game, find themselves in front.
But ever since the second half substitutions, Real Madrid has had their way going forward. They've had a little bit more of the momentum, a little bit more confidence. Listen, Danilo last year, many questioned his play because of his struggles defensively, but he's always had the power, he's always had the pace and technique to impact the game going forward. Great cut into his left foot, and how about that for a finish?
Worked. As soon as we mentioned the threat of penalties, we get a goal in open play. And it's a Brazilian who scored it. Alaba. Green. Benko fouled. This is within range. If Bayern just take a moment to consider their options. And those options appear to include Vidal, and maybe Thiago. Perhaps Alaba. Vidal's run away from it. It's Thiago. In shape.
Bayern Munich have had their chances tonight, a couple of them off of set pieces. Alaba in the first half hitting the post, Thiago here in the second half just wide, but they've had their chances, particularly in the first half. And I think if anything Carlo Ancelotti takes out of this game is that the first half they dictated the game, they dictated the tempo of the game, particularly on the left-hand side, and they had their opportunities, but also got some real good fitness for 60, 70 minutes.
Madrid scoring, having made a whole host of changes. This is the only outfield player in their team who started the game. Vasquez was an inviting cross too, but it was a foul challenge by Mariano.
And as much as we're not going to see Nicholas Feldhahn at all this year for Bayern Munich, barring any injuries, he's held his own tonight. He's been very good with his position, particularly defending that back post on crosses, but he's also been calm and collected, keeping possession. I guess it's not that difficult when Xavi Alonso's in front of you for 55 minutes.
It helps. It helps.
It's like calling a game with you.
Listen, you've done very well in trying circumstances.
I hope that comment got me dinner in Portland this weekend.
La. Alaba. Vidal. Bayern's first involvement in the International Champions Cup at the 4th season of the competition. Real Madrid have been regulars. They were the inaugural winners in 2013. That's nice. So the younger brigade, led by Fabian Benko, strutting their stuff.
And that's why many Bayern Munich supporters believe Fabian Benko could be the real deal as he matures, as we go back to that Danilo finish. And listen, he was controversial last year. I think he struggled defensively, but he had 2 goals, 5 assists in La Liga. He's got the opportunity going forward. He's got the body, he's got the power, the pace, and all that. I just think at the highest level, particularly the Champions League, I think Danilo needs to improve his defending. And even Zidane said that over the last 48 to 72 hours in certain interviews.
Benko. The referee will pull that back for a foul by Sergio Diaz. Nacho was the man who was caught. Both these sides hopping on a plane very shortly to take them back to Europe. They'll conclude their pre-season preparations. Be joined by all those absent at the moment after Euro 2016 exertions. Real Madrid haven't made too many statements on the fitness of Cristiano Ronaldo, who limped off in the Euro 2016 final with that knee problem, of course.
What were your final thoughts of the European Championships? You like the 24 teams or no?
No.
I agree.
I just think that it dilutes it too much. I think fantastic the Cinderella stories provided by Iceland and Wales.
But they would have been in it anyways.
They would.
With qualifying.
But I just felt that for every side, 2 out of the 3 group games didn't really matter because you only really needed 1 win. Here's Vidal. Blocked by Nacho. Listen, it was great to be there, and it's never a bad tournament, but it didn't produce quite as many truly memorable matches that you'll log in your mind and refer to for years to come.
4 teams advance out of the group stage only scoring 2 goals, John. There's something wrong with the formula.
Well, there is when it's actually harder to get knocked out than stay in. But it'll be the same in 4 years' time, and of course that is spread right across the continent of Europe. Conclude with the semi-finals and the final at Wembley in London, but before that, going to places as diverse as Baku in Azerbaijan for a quarter-final, for example.
I think if they do 24 teams, which they will, I think you just need to look at how do you get out of your group. Maybe it's all the first-place teams or maybe 2 second-place teams, but there's just no reason where you actually don't need to win a game in your group to get through. Which also raises a question, and we've heard the talks of Infantino looking at the World Cup. Why would you go to 40 teams?
Well, you know why. It's because
of course, but
politically it gets votes for people. It spreads the wealth a little more, but I think as a sporting contest, it just detracts from the World Cup, not enhances it.
The last World Cup was absolutely perfect. That wouldn't change a single thing.
Thiago goes off. Running out of time to make any further substitutions. Wolfgang Dremler's youth team now producing Erdal Öztürk, born in Berlin to a Turkish family. Gastarbeiter, guest workers. Actually scored a significant goal in pre-season, the winner against Manchester City in the Allianz Arena in Brian's second game. Alaba. Bernard. Sergio Diaz. Rafinha. Öztürk. Kovacic. Referee again goes to his pocket, this time for Arturo Vidal. So if I ask you to sum up this, not so much as a sporting contest, but in terms of what you think both sides have got out of it, Taylor, what would you say?
I think Carlo Ancelotti and Bayern Munich will look at the first 25 to 30 minutes and how difficult it was for Real Madrid to get out of their own end, keep possession. And I think he'll use that to build on particularly the high pressing. And then once you press and win possession, how do you keep that? But I think Zidane and what Real Madrid wanted out of this is obviously he introduced Ramos and James Rodriguez and Luka Modric into the preseason. He wants to get fitness. But a lot of this, I think, starts for Real Madrid and actually for Bayern Munich as well, is when those European Championship players return to the squad. But for Real Madrid, that starts August 9th. The UEFA Super Cup, they'll get a good game against Sevilla. And I think that will be more of a test to see what Zidane and his staff believe his side needs. So much of this, John, is about one, fitness, and two, giving young guys and reserve players the experience, and who knows, maybe one of them catches your eye. But I think when you read too much into it, other than that, how many preseasons have we seen throughout the world in any sport for that matter, where teams can win every game in preseason and then lay an egg in the regular season and vice versa?
The other judgment that coaches and managers are making, bearing in mind they carry such large squads these days, is which players to keep and which to send out on loan for further development.
Well, to your point, Zidane needs to make a decision on Asensio, because short term he may look at it and say, I want him coming off the bench, but long term, as a 20-year-old, he may be better suited sending him on loan again like he did last year.
Mariano. Oh, he tried one. Maybe born of the confidence from that wondrous goal in Ann Arbor the other day.
Oh, and last year and throughout the lower leagues, 27 goals. He's got good pace, but the one thing he definitely has is that knack for pulling off the spectacular or finding a way to score goals in a variety of ways.
Given away to Kovacic. Mariano. Stays at one. In the first of 3 extra minutes. Kovacic. The only goal so far from Danilo. 11 minutes from time. Martin Ødegaard. He's given us quite a bright cameo off the Real Madrid bench. Marco Asensio. And now Mariano, blocked out by Ulreich.
And we've already seen in his brief cameo, just Mariano doing everything he can to get that goal. You talk about that wonder goal he scored against Chelsea in Ann Arbor, Michigan. But in this brief time, he's had two wonderful opportunities to get that second goal for Real Madrid.
So still just that faint chance for Bayern to take this to penalties. That's if they can get the ball, and that's not going to help their cause. Well, they are going to get a free kick, and of course in regular season there's absolutely no question as to who to take it. But it's different at the moment with Ronaldo injured. Dan, who's cut a very relaxed figure throughout this North American tour. The very first day that Real Madrid landed in Montreal and used the Impact's training facilities. And Mariano's the player who's taken great care in placing the ball. Asensio is also there. It is the long run.
Similar to Ronaldo in Euros.
Yes.
Too soon?
Very good point, well made. And Real Madrid conclude their International Champions Cup participation for the year 2016 with a victory earned by Danilo's second half goal. Handshakes between Zinedine Zidane and Carlo Ancelotti, former colleagues in Madrid. Danilo, better known as a right-back, one delicious sweep of the left foot to decide this game in favour of Real Madrid, who climb the rankings but will take plenty ahead of the season's official opener in a few days' time. It's finished. Bayern 0, Real Madrid 1. We'll be right back. By the absence of those still recuperating after Euro 2016, but Julian Green is there to lead the line. As for Real Madrid, this lineup is as strong as it could be, given the injuries to Ronaldo and Benzema and the vacation of Gareth Bale. Some stellar names are on that team sheet tonight. Match referee, Mexican Jaime Herrera. Quite a difference for him. He'll be the fourth official at DC United against Philadelphia Union this coming weekend in MLS. His last game in the middle was between Bethlehem Steel and Toronto FC. So it's Bayern in the red, Real Madrid, of course, in the white. Two sides who, between them, have accumulated 64 domestic league titles and 16 European Cup and Champions League trophies. And little wonder that we have a full house to watch two of the giants of world football collide, Taylor Twellman.
It's a great opportunity for soccer football fans around the country, but also right here in New York to see two great sides and some of the best players this world will ever see. Just keep an eye on the matchup in the midfield, the three in the midfield for Real Madrid against the three in the midfield for Bayern Munich. I think the strength of these two sides will come down not only tonight, but throughout their club season and particularly in Champions League, down to how strong those three in the midfield are.
Here's Philipp Lahm, the man who lifted the World Cup 2 years ago for Germany. Now retired, of course, from international football. And Marcelo, who strangely, although Real Madrid's left back, is this tournament's joint top scorer. That's a foul. And just to show that this does matter, Thiago Alcantara went screaming in the referee's face. So first run out of pre-season for James. Also for Sergio Ramos. First full involvement for Luka Modric. This is Sergio Ramos. Already today in this competition in Stockholm, Sweden, Barcelona have beaten Leicester City 4-2. That means that Barcelona are now the only team that can deprive Paris Saint-Germain of a second consecutive ICC trophy. Barca need to beat Liverpool by a 4-goal margin when they meet on Saturday at Wembley Stadium in London to overtake PSG and win the title. Here's Feldhahn. Now Thiago. Seeking out the Austrian, Alaba. Free kick awarded.
Well, and on one side, you're going to see Philipp Lahm drop into the midfield. Vidal will push a little bit higher upfield, maybe more penetrating runs, plays a second forward at times underneath Julian Green. Alaba for Carlo Ancelotti on the other side will play more as an out-and-out winger, stay on the touchline, and try to use his pace to get in behind.
Ancelotti installed as the Bayern coach as long ago as last December, when it became clear that Guardiola was leaving. Up against the club that he managed with some distinction for 2 years, up to 2015. Here's Niklas Feldhahn. So old, Taylor Twellman, that he played at 1860 Munich at the same time as you.
Yeah, well, he was on the under-16, so you just outdated me. But I remember Feldhahn was on the 16s with us on the reserve team. A couple times coming up and training with us, but let's make no mistake about it. Bayern Munich will be all about Mats Hummels and Boateng at the center-back position this year.
There's someone else who's going to have to start the season with Jerome Boateng having had that thigh problem in the Euro semi-final. Zinedine Zidane, who's included 2 of his sons in tonight's match squad. Enzo, a midfielder. Lupo, a goalkeeper too. Here's Lahm. The apparently ageless Xabi Alonso. Vidal.